What's going on there, citizens of the Reject Nation? We are here to watch the trailer for a movie directed by a guy who, when asked on our live stream recently, one of the questions was, who are your 5 favorite directors? John specifically directed at him. And one of the people he listed was Robert Rodriguez.
Bobby Rods.
He listed all the Shark Boy and Lava Girl movies, the Spy Kids films, but he has not seen films like Desperado or Machete, but he's seen Machete Hills. So we're here to do this. It stars Ben Affleck.
Yep.
It's had a fantastic reception at South by Southwest, right? That's what it's called, the airline.
It. Yes, Southwest Airlines screening every flight.
Every time I read those letters, I think it's S&M. It's what my memory tells me. Or it sounds like a radio station. They should change it. You should change it.
You're listening to SXSW.
But it had a fantastic reception, and it wasn't even finished yet. That's how confident they are in this. I like the idea of pairing Ben Affleck and Robert Rodriguez. Something about that just sounds really cool to me. Leave a like. This is going to be a very zen reaction. Let's get to it.
What do you see? Your daughter? The park?
Wasn't paying attention.
Face off.
Whoa.
Oh, shit.
Work?
Think I'm ready for duty?
Do you feel ready?
I think it's the only thing keeping me sane.
This is personal.
Give me back my daughter.
Bank robbery.
Is this crime currently in progress?
Today.
See that guy on the bench?
William
That
Fichtner.
guy's up to something.
It's very hot today. It's like a furnace.
Another scorcher.
He's got an evil scar.
Furnace.
Whoa, what?
What is going on?
Deposit box.
Is that the target?
Lock 23.
No.
Hands up!
But I'm the wrong man.
Where is she?
Oh, shit. This is like
Whoa.
a supernatural movie. Or sci-fi.
I know you called the
Or both?
guys. Who the hell are you?
What makes total strangers pull off an elaborate bank heist? Are you familiar with the concept of hypnotics?
Hypnotic.
They're using hypnosis to rob banks.
The
Yes.
ability to influence the brain, sound, voice.
Need a light?
I love it.
Hypnotics use them to make you see a version of the world that doesn't exist.
That's his daughter.
Yes, in the future, but now.
It's not you anymore.
Nick, stop! I have to know everything. Why
Dominoes.
me? Why my daughter?
You don't know who you're dealing with. What you see
It's like Tomorrow Never Dies.
Yeah, a little bit. There's a little bond in there.
Hypnotics make everything that you see and do feel perfectly normal.
Right.
So in the reflex.
Whoa, that was surprising. I expected just a cheesy action movie because it's Robert Rodriguez.
Don't insult my boy. He can get serious once in a while.
I like a lot of his. From Dusk Till Dawn is one of my all-time favorite movies, and I do want an Alita sequel. I was surprised by that. It was doing all these typical tropes, especially like, oh, I didn't see my daughter, and he's working the case because, you know, he's
too
hot
good
from
at
his
his
job.
job.
Like, yeah, it's got some of that noir, detective, inspirational touches. Because this trailer, in a lot of its own ways, is like a fun hypnotic trailer. It didn't feel like incredibly mind-bending, but just enough mind-bending to latch onto its premise. And so I liked a lot of what we saw here because I feel like it can escalate into something that gets very trippy and very weird. I really wanted to commit intensely to its subject. There's an alt universe where Nicolas Cage is starring in this movie.
Oh, that's a great call. Absolutely, he is. Yes, yes.
Because
yes.
this
You
also-
said Face Off.
This also reminds me of other Ben Affleck movies from back in the day. Like
oh yeah,
Paycheck.
Paycheck.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. Oh, and there are probably a couple more whose names elude me now. But yeah,
And-
that Ben Affleck on the run from sci-fi shadowy organization. Yeah.
And William Fichtner reprising his role from that Nicolas Cage Drive Angry.
Yeah, there you
That's
go.
what it kind of reminds me of here.
Yeah.
His performance seems like it's plucked right out of there in a lot of ways. Yeah, it's a silly ass concept, but it's taking itself really serious, which I was surprised by, because that's the one part of it is this is getting such good feedback. This is getting incredible feedback. I love to hear it. The concept is so kind of silly to me that I feel like there has to be some sense of self-awareness. But that's kind of a common thing with Robert Rodriguez trailers, I noticed. A lot of the times the trailers will give you something so serious, and then the movies end up having an awareness of fun that the trailers don't usually communicate. I don't know if that's the idea. I've heard this is like, part of the maturity of Robert Rodriguez coming into the fold.
Okay.
And so I'm excited to see it. Imagine there's some good action.
Oh,
stuff.
sure. Yeah. It looks very stylish.
I was surprised with Alice Braga, who looks like she's going to be a prominent character. Normally in a Rodriguez film, I expect them to be a little bit more badass in the trailers, because I think he does a great job at bringing female heroine addicts to life.
Yes. Really portraying the struggles and plight with immense compassion.
John, I imagine this is your favorite trailer you've seen
The
in
best
a long
trailer
time,
I've
'cause
ever
it's
seen in my
done by
life.
Robert Rodriguez.
And Robert Rodriguez can do no wrong. And if you bring receipts, I will just not acknowledge them. No, I think the part of the charm of Robert Rodriguez is that he has a unique blend of an eye for both things that are marketable and like part of this feels like a bunch of trailers I've seen, and it feels very much like, okay, a thriller, detective, appealing star, slightly trippy and hard to understand from the trailer concept, but that pulls you in. But then once you get there, once you're actually watching the movie, like you said, there's probably a greater sense of actual personality, quirkiness, etc. to the proceedings. I feel like Robert Rodriguez has been in the business long enough to know how to like pitch something with just enough marketable bits and then be able to bring it, with his own unique voice about it. And I get that sense from this. I mean, if you didn't tell me Rodriguez directed this, I wouldn't have guessed it off the bat.
All.
Yeah, and it's got like a sort of more restrained sort of visual style, and it is kind of reminding you of a bunch of other movies and stuff like that. But I always appreciate when
Like
I get
Inception.
like Inception, like a number of Bonds, even Missions Impossible to some degree. Any movie really where someone's like in a semi-exotic location evading people on a bike, weaving through the city. It's just a genre unto itself. But yeah. Like I love the excitement of the mystery. This is my kind of mystery box where it's like, it's up to you now to make whatever this concept is, this idea that, these subtle suggestions, these ways that people have hypnotized you are then going to like lead to these subconscious actions. Like it's that thing of like you read about, the idea of hypnosis and you're like, I got a cool action movie I could base off of that.
It needs like cool twists and turns. I think this is one of those movies that would need like a convoluted amount of twists. It needs to be so just compact to the point where you're like, I feel like you got to teeter the line with too many twists. Like you got to be right at the edge of you're doing too many, but don't quite go there.
Yeah. Because that's how you offset the things that are very familiar about what this is. Cop with a detective guy with his estranged daughter or daughter he doesn't spend enough time with, and I feel like Alice Braga probably in some weird way will. I don't know if it's that kind of sci-fi movie, but who knows? She's probably his daughter or something weird like that.
Limitless vibes as well.
Limitless. That's a good one.
There's a whole bunch of familiar movies in here, but I'm excited to see Rodriguez try out a different type of direction style. Like in terms of cinematography, especially, this doesn't look like a lot of his films. Yeah, this doesn't look like it was made at his warehouse in Texas.
This doesn't look like he did everything by himself, which, I'm always there for. But yeah, like, especially these days, as he does kind of have to do more sort of slightly mature filmmakery things, I feel like, it's good to delegate a little bit and to bring your crew for something like
Maybe
this.
That's what happened when he worked on Book of Boba Fett. This is what it's like working with other people.
This is not bad. I can get used to this.
You just got to focus on directing?
Oh, wow. I can free
Weird.
up so much mental space if I just delegate a few of these tasks to a cinematographer, an editor, and everybody else I need to make a movie.
Overall, I was pleasantly surprised by a lot of what was here. But guys, were you hypnotized by this trailer? Leave your thoughts down below. Will this lead to them restoring the Snyderverse?
With Robert Rodriguez at the helm.
We're not letting it go.
Never.
Guys, subscribe, leave a like. John, I think we should do a page.
Everett Pixelmite Baker, you just sound like a character from a Robert Rodriguez movie, or like, you know, the banner he would call his like CG in-house animation firm that does all of his movies that he does himself. And I feel like you have that level of independence and proactivity, Pixelmite Baker, Everett. You have a boundless creativity, but a childlike spirit, and that's what keeps you fresh after all these years of subscribing to the Patreon. And you are not a troublemaker. You are a double R. R for realist of the real. And add another R because you're a reject, but in a good way. And I would love to be hypnotized by you.
I genuinely don't know what you're saying.
You know, you don't have to, man. You're a desperado.
No idea what you're
And once
talking
upon
about
a
right
time
now.
in Mexico, there were some spy kids, let me tell you. And Everett Pixelmite Baker was one of them, and he saved our butts in 3D because we can be heroes. All right? So hold on to your shorts. And once upon a time in Mexico, Sin City. All right, that's enough Robert Rodriguez movies. Name a couple more in the comments, Everett.